good night, everyone, and welcome to the conversation. I'm your co-host, Alistair Sampson, and with us we have Christopher Crossley, aka Mr. Crossley, sir, aka the gentleman, and also we have with us Mr. Fit Micaiah Wilson, aka the monster trainer himself, aka Mr. Fit X Studio. Good to see you all tonight, and we have not one but two special guests tonight, and you're gonna hear a lot from them just now. We have Crystal Phillip, just show just by way of a hand, Crystal, and also we have Sabira Mohammed, all the way from the island of Tobago. So great to have you all online with us on the conversation. We're so happy to have you all with us tonight. Now, before we get into anything, we have our COVID check-in. So, Chris, with the COVID check-in, brought to you by the letter C. All right.
Oh yes, I like that one, brought to you by the letter C. So good night, everyone. Thanks for joining us here once again on the conversation. And you know we like to bring these topics or bring you these truths so that you can continue to developing your lifestyle, your business. All right. So, ladies, thank you for joining us. And what we do here at the beginning of the conversation, we like to find out, since COVID came on the scene, how has it affected you personally? Not your business just yet. How has it affected you as a person? Because we always say it's a human being that's behind the business, and what affects the person usually affects the business and the other areas of their life. So, Sabira, let's start with you. How has COVID affected you since it came on the scene? 16 months ago?
I don't know. I think COVID was probably a blessing in disguise because at the point in time, I was exhausted in my final year in UE, just going to the hospital, reporting to school, going back home. My kids, I wasn't seeing them as much, it was just so tiring. And then COVID came, and we were home, and I don't know, it just started to, a lot of things started becoming like reality started to set in, like, this is what is important, your family, being home with them, and I really learned that I didn't need to go 10,000 miles away from my family in order to find something that works for me. I do this right out of my house. I sell my raw materials. It's right downstairs. I live upstairs, and it worked out. For me, I think COVID really, it stabilized me. It made me very calm. I understand that we have to keep connected to people and we have to talk to everyone, but I realized my family is the most important thing, in this time. That's what I really, a lot of things came into perspective.
And in terms of your productivity, though, as in some people became, super productive. Some people had to readjust. Some people lost their sleep routine. How did that affect you?
Well, for me, I was always obsessed with having something to do, and so making it's very therapeutic, making stuff, creating, and it's sort of it's so therapeutic, and it just every day just getting to go downstairs and just do something, it was just like so nice. And from there, one thing, it was the catalyst really for everything that set itself that trajectory, because every day doing something, I was like, have got more stock and more supplies, and then I grew into a room and I outgrew the room and I needed another room, and then my husband was like, how much oil we just eat?
Right.
He was like, don't you think you should be selling some of these stuff, because every time I go to the grocery, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna buy stuff for food, and just come home with a bag of oil. And he was like, well, we drinking oil now.
Something's up here.
Yeah.
That's actually a very good perspective because a lot of people, you said starting a blessing in disguise, so that means things, you were glad for that break and that room to get to discover yourself more. And a lot of people didn't get that, so that's great. Crystal, how has it been for you? And I know some of it already, so yeah.
Well, for me, the individual, I think I have experienced what people call exhaustion. I am completely exhausted. That is what COVID did for me, because me and the business is really one. Unfortunately, we are one. And because of the business and the demand that came out of COVID, with persons now seeing a need for food security and to become an entrepreneur in terms of job security and funds and whatnot, what would have happened is business would have increased. And with that increase, my workload increased. And I wasn't prepared for the increase. So like whatever was not a problem became a problem, and it needed more man hours, more me hours.
Mm-hmm.
And I was completely drained. I'm still completely drained.
I'm talking a year plus later, right? So I know you said because of that you got more work, which means more you time. Well, me hours, as you said. So were you one of those? Well, I guess you were one of those hyper productive people. But how did that affect the other parts of in terms of getting enough rest, eating properly, stuff like that?
Everything went to hell. My eating habits, it wasn't great to begin with before, but it was quickly terrible soon after. It was good sometimes and terrible sometimes. Some days it was just easier to do a smoothie and go.
Wow.
Other days it was, you need happy food because no restaurants open. Make a lasagna, bake some cookies.
Yeah.
Sleep was erratic because you have ideas on your mind, or you remember something that you forgot during the day. You jump up, you write a note. You're trying to go back and sleep, you can't because you already get that that high, that energy. So you're up and you're going. And at 9 a.m. you're looking to crash, but 9 a.m. the phone ringing and you can't afford to crash. Like all habits went to hell. Like, wait, oh my God, I have been trying to lose the same 20 pounds for the last year and something. I lose it halfway, I gain it back. Lose it halfway, I gain it back. It's like
and everything else. Yeah. Wow. So as we're on you, Crystal, let the people know exactly what have been keeping you that busy. All right, because I know you are a lady that wear many hats. So share with us your business.
So what has kept me busy is I have 3 active businesses currently. 2 out of the 3 has kept me the most busy in terms of like more busy than the 3rd. So we have, let's go internationally. I have a business called Roll Ice Cream. What I do is I sell ice cream equipment, ingredients, and supplies. And it's seasonal. And the season for ice cream is, summer and spring. And coincidentally, also winter. People pre-buy equipment, so it would come in spring. So I was excessively busy dealing with my international customers for that. And then our local trainees and, neighboring islands, Tobago, Grenada, St. Vincent, Dominica, they were all up in the food security rave as well, and they wanted equipment. So I was ridiculously busy in terms of, procuring equipment, managing logistics, shipping, distribution, customer service, quotation, invoicing, following up, dealing with customers, dealing with suppliers, dealing with shippers, and dealing with the other cogs in between that happens in between all this.
You need stuff.
And the thing that stuck out was shipping. Shipping was like the biggest pain point because shipping has increased an exponential amount in the sense that what we would have paid for a container a 40-foot container in 2019, We are paying almost double that for
Double.
20 foot now.
Right.
Right? So now you need to do two things. You need to pay an increased shipping cost. And now you need to explain to customers why their goods are taking longer to reach to them. Because with COVID, shortage of everything. You have equipment shortage, vessel shortage, container shortage, custom shortage. Whatever it had before, it's short now, right? And everything just increased because now they're like overloading vessels. So it takes longer to reach. And some custom officers tend to want to do their job extra vigorously. I was giving somebody a story that we brought in some sample oils. I wish I had it in my hand right now. 2 packs of sample oil, no bigger than a letter size page. And I had like 50 something parcels, crates, packages. And this officer wanted us to go through everyone to show him these oils.
Oh,
So much fun.
Wow. And that's
it's like, I don't know, boy, but COVID has been an interesting time. It has been an interesting time. It has kept me on my toes. Normally I have freelancers. I actually had to hire someone now, and I'm actually thinking about hiring a second person now because it hasn't plateaued.
right.
The demand is still there. The customers are still there. Everyone is just like, I don't know, it was like an eye-opener to some persons that entrepreneurship is actually an option. And 8 to 4 actually isn't secure. Your permanent job isn't really permanent. Yeah, so some people eyes finally opened up to this. So you would see, people with wonderful permanent government jobs or permanent, nice, private, cushy jobs are now ordering equipment to have something on the side just in case.
Right.
Yeah.
They're just in case.
And this is with which of the businesses? This is throughout all three?
This is throughout both. So in
Right.
Roll Ice Cream internationally, a lot of persons, so I have people who have like hair salons, beauticians, call centers, or I have a paralegal right now in what state he's in, Georgia, looking to open an ice cream store. He was like, when he was small, when he used to play with his brothers, they always used to play ice cream. And he's a paralegal looking to open an ice cream store.
So imagine that people trying to find ways to not supplement, but to add additional streams of income, right? And that is something that you will find. So we know you have roles. I know about yes. I'll let you speak briefly, and yes, I want to get in because based on what you said, I actually want to ask Sabira a question. So tell us a little bit about yes before we move on.
Oh yeah, well yes is the exact same thing with the shipping and the issues and the problems. It's literally the exact same issue, but according to this region where I'm more hands-on and I could do a little bit more about it, but being here means my customers know I'm here and I need to meet with my customers and talk to my customers. And the thing with yes is, since it's an e-commerce store and some customers need a little bit more how should I put it? Hand-holding. Because they're not accustomed to dealing with e-commerce. So like today I was speaking with a customer in Tobago and they were like, do we need to come to you? How do we get it? How do we pay? I'm like, no, don't worry, it will be delivered to you in Tobago. They're like, really? It's like people still think that, it's like in the draconian days where you need to leave where you are, come
to a store,
pay, look,
touch.
Then go back and wait, take the item. No. It's like it's full service. This is available now. Proper customer service and deliverability is available now.
That's a good point you just raised there, that a lot of people that aren't used to online, aren't used to shopping online. So we know some people that don't even have bank accounts still, right? So a lot of things came to surface, even with the digital transformation happening. And a lot of businesses moving online, we do see that there are gaps for things to actually move smoothly, right? So in saying that, Sabira, I want you to tell us about your business, one, and then let us know, based on those similar things that she mentioned with ordering and stuff, because you're in Tobago. So I don't know how the cogs in the wheel get to turn for you to get your stuff. So let us know, about your business and how basically those similar things?
So I am a craft shop. I sell the raw materials for soap making, candle making, and well, so many other crafts like lotions and lip balms, and well, there's so much more that I don't know, but people would know with the ingredients. But when I first started, I wasn't doing like deliveries and all of that like Crystal. I wasn't I didn't understand like using TT codes, track back. These were all steps that I had to take to like learn. Like a lot of what she's saying sounds like what I would probably be in years to come, but what I would hope to be in years to come, I had initially finding packaging was that they say marketing is half and branding it's also half of it. So packaging was my delay, downfall. I made so much messes. I didn't understand graphics and would send the wrong file. The printer would print it. I would have to pay for that,
Wow.
and they wouldn't tell me like the errors that I made, because they're doing it so and dealing with customers who know how to do these things. And well, I didn't. I had to learn. I had a lot of learning experiences with my first experience going like getting bad service or not getting deliveries or having items lost and whatever. Trying to get to the suppliers was one of the hardest things to do. It's like when you pay for something, everything is great and whatever. Immediately when the package is lost and they have to like refund you or that sort of thing. It took me like 2 weeks to actually get on back to someone to tell them, well, I didn't receive items or these types of things. It was really a difficult work, but now I do have deliveries. I for glass items and so forth. I have a service with a delivery driver that would take items straight down to Trinidad for persons. So I there was a lot of learning steps. Not everything was perfect. I've probably made more mistakes than anything reaching up to this point. And I think I need to talk to Crystal after today.
That's good.
So,
That's
listen,
good.
Mistakes is literally, I wouldn't say the best way to learn, but it's a good way to learn in the sense that after you make a
Definitely.
mistake, like a hard mistake,
Yep.
bet your bottom dollar you'll never do it again.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
You think of all the creative ways for it to never happen again.
Yeah, I could say like, don't take anybody's like word for it, anymore. Don't pay upfront without
Nope.
seeing work done.
Correct.
I learned so much.
Exactly.
People was Houdini with my money.
Yeah, it helps you develop like your SOP.
Yeah.
Like I have my own SOP. I even have a checklist when buying from people. So I have a checklist that I go through to make sure that I don't forget and you don't forget. This is for both of our benefits.
Correct. That's very good. So, Sabrina, how much years have you been in business?
I only started in January 2021.
Well, you see.
Oh, baby.
Yeah, trial by fire. And the thing is, I like the fact that you actually said it was a blessing in disguise, right? And it started. So that means you actually you're literally growing in it. You're learning to pivot in the paint while the paint's wet, right? Crystal,
Yep.
how much years you're in it now? I knew you from busybody days. And yes, so yeah.
You see, that's a hard question. I'm in business since I'm like 7. I've been selling something.
Your registered businesses, man.
In terms of registered my business,
Yeah, the registered businesses.
You get a calculator here, right?
My God. Your businesses have gray hairs already? Yeah?
And my businesses have gray hairs already. Because
That is
I
interesting.
registered my very first business when I was 18. Oh, go now, only go and find out my age.
But I know your age, so anyhow.
Ah, boy.
Let's just say I registered my first business when I was 18. That
Wow.
was Busybody on
Busybody.
Superior Street, correct, on Superior Street in San Fernando. It was not fragrances then, it was office supplies,
Office
computer
supplies.
accessories, and an internet cafe.
Right.
That was in the era of internet cafes.
Wow.
Still in telling you my age.
I ain't gonna bust that file for you, don't worry. So, all right. So, seeing that, all right. So, Sabira, you're a little fresh in it, and Crystal, you have a little age in it. During this time of COVID, what would you say has been the main, not obstacle, but the hardest challenge that you've had to face today? Sabira, I'll let you go first.
What was for me, the hardest challenge?
Yes, so
I had
far.
Okay, which one to tell you?
Which one? Tell us. This is why we have it, because we want people to know.
That's right. They can have the truth.
Yeah.
Balancing monies and in terms of knowing how to allot funds, because the business,
Right.
everything is constant, and if you overspend in one area, next week you have no lights, this kind of thing.
Yeah.
For me, it was learning how to balance, put aside for rainy days. Well, COVID was already the storm,
Yep.
but learning to still manage, and time management was an obstacle as well, because in the beginning, I would answer people 6 o'clock in the morning, 11 o'clock in the night, and then I got them accustomed, and then I had to stop that. And
Thank you.
that was very hard to get them, to wean them off now and only get them to contact me during certain hours.
Yep.
But managing funds and learning how to speak publicly to persons without sweating out my
Okay.
Well, I still sweat when I speak.
AKA sales?
Yep.
But I would say those were managing money is one of the hardest.
Finances and time management.
Yeah.
I think for a lot of new entrepreneurs, even those who, even in the COVID period, who would have decided to launch another business, a lot of times they think to themselves they have good personal money management. So it's no problem to manage our business funds. But it's very different.
Very different.
And if you ever confuse the fact that the business money is your money, and if you just put it in the same place, in the same pocket, and just, it'll work itself out after, you will end up at the end of the month wondering, what money I make? And the scariest thing ever is to see to finally, for example, I remember I gave a friend of mine some advice on setting up his business account and stuff for the bank. And they needed to get a cash flow projection, right? Because he's operated for a while before, they asked for some past figures. So he tried to put them together. And when he did, he was like, oh, Mike, I don't think I ever see all this money. He said, this document saying I make this amount of money. But I can't ever remember seeing this amount of money.
Because it's flowing.
And I told him, you have no system. You're literally treating it like if it's your money that you just put in your pocket, and it doesn't have a system to go behind it. And when you have a bill to pay, you're not even sure if you're paying the bill out of your personal money or if you're paying out of the business money, or where the limit between one and the next begins. And I know in the beginning, sometimes it's difficult to separate, because for some people, they personally fund their business. That is basically how most businesses start. But even understanding market of what your investment is and knowing how to keep that amount of money moving, and people think that it's just as simple as, okay, I start and I'm gonna figure it out. You can lose plenty money in that figuring it out process.
Please, yeah. And that is very true. I second that, because the thing is, most people, they want to start a business, but very few actually sit down and plan. They just have the idea and run with it. They do understand that colluding money within their own separate from business is wrong. Looking at reinvesting their money back into their business if they're going to pay themselves, and then now working from home, there's so much ways that you can actually create stuff like paying your own self a rent. These little things that they don't teach you in school that you tend to learn while on the job or while developing your business in that sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely you can't be willy-nilly with your money, so that is very true. Crystal, what about you? What has been your greatest challenge besides sleeping properly?
Besides sleeping properly, that's a big one. Greatest. Well, just like she said, I have an issue currently with managing persons contacting me, because, example, at 2 a.m. this morning I was on a phone call. Right? So my time management has been terrible, because I work against different timelines. Of course, I'm on the Eastern time zone here locally. Then I have persons in India, I have persons in China, and everyone needs to talk to me in their daytime. And their daytime is normally my nighttime. So when they need to speak to me and they decide to call because of their message and they don't get me, of course they'll call. And they'll call and I'll wake up, and obviously it's important to me. So I need to get up and I need to speak with them. So like, as I said, 2 o'clock this morning, I was on a Zoom call. And I wouldn't doubt that, probably 3 o'clock this morning, well, tomorrow morning, I might be on another one. Because, if they call me, obviously it's important and I need to respond. So also customers. So like, if it's something concerning an order, I may message a customer at 2 in the morning as well. And then that customer would feel as though they can message me 2 in the morning going forward.
Yep.
Boundaries.
It sets a bad precedent that is honestly really difficult to break, because I need the customer at the time, so I need to message at that time, so I won't lose an additional day.
But Crystal, question, right? Given the structure of your business, being that you have to communicate between different time zones, would you really call that poor time management? Because it's literally in some ways unavoidable.
No, it is poor time management, because I should be able to set the times in which I work in different time zones. So I should be able to say, well, okay, between, 3 a.m. to 6 a.m., I'm working on that time zone, and give them that time, as opposed to having persons reach out to me all willingly 1 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 2 o'clock. If they had a set time, I could have a sleep time.
Okay.
Right? So they should have like a set window of 4 hours or 6 hours or 5 hours in which I dedicate towards them, and I turn off my phone and I turn it back on. But that's in an ideal way.
I want to say the same thing. As a entrepreneur, we just know the ideal thing to do, but we just be like, it can't really happen here once it happens all the time.
Yeah, that's the ideal thing. You turn off your phone and you turn it back on at this particular time, because these are your operating hours.
Yeah. Well,
that's many.
The thing with starting a business, though, and I know what she experiences because I work with similar time zones at times. However, what I would say is the problem that a lot of us fall into is that we tend to always make ourselves available. And I say, if you're always available, then when are you actually working? Right? Because you then put that extra pressure on yourself because of it, which isn't healthy, right? I can tell, I know in the early when I worked for 3 days straight because of time zones, and lack of sleep is a hell of a thing. It destroys your body, right?
Yeah.
So I know that feeling. So what I tell people is, look, there's a illusion of scarcity that I apply now, right? Which gives me the right now at certain times to raise my price, because if it is scarce and exclusive. When you get my time, you actually get my time, right? And people need to set those boundaries, I believe. So just as Crystal said, if she told them, all right, between 3 to 6 is for these people in this time zone, she knows, well, all right, I can lock off during the day by, let me say, 7, 8, and then go to sleep. So I'm up by 3 or whatever, so I can handle that kind of business, right? Because once people get in the habit of thinking, I could just call and you will always be quick to respond. Stop that.
Yeah.
Stop that real quick.
And it's actually that bad in the sense that, like, my freelancers, like, I literally had a freelancer, the accountant who messaged me, who had the call last night. He was like, you don't sleep? Because I'm talking with him on his time. I'm talking with him on my time. I'm talking to him when he's up, when he's sleeping. I'm like always there. I know he was laughing. That's
hence why you're exhausted.
That's noticeable.
Yeah, that is it. So, and both of you all, well, basically you all work alone in the sense where, Sabira, I know you said that you do everything in your business, right? And then Crystal, I know you just mentioned you have a freelancer doing some stuff now.
Yeah, I have a lot of freelancers usually. So I have persons for the
So you have a little help at least.
Yeah, little, you know, little elves helping me along. But I now have a local person helping as well.
Okay, so Sabira, if it is you needed help now, who would you need?
Well, just like Crystal, I also have like little fairies in between, you know. So, but I have well, Mike and I, we have a friend in common, and well, she and I, we worked out a way where she could personal shop in Trinidad for clients in Tobago. And, you know, we try to work it out. What I don't really want to hire employees. I want to try to encourage people to find their own thing, you know. So if I can encourage someone to get into something that will complement my business and help my business, I do that. I don't try to. I feel like at this point, taking on an employee would be extremely difficult, you know, because it would be trying to teach the person everything that I'm doing, the way that I'm doing it. And we just don't have that time because the amount of stuff I have scheduled, it would be really cumbersome to go to try to help someone understand why I'm doing certain things. So for me, for right now, it's associates help on, like, you know, paid, like according to Crystal, freelancers, yes, like that. But I don't think I could handle an employee right now. Maybe somebody who is probably has experience in soap making, you know, but then what would be fair to pay them, you know, like for me, like I'm serious about stuff like that. So
you will always be serious about stuff like that because it's your business. That's your baby, right?
Yeah.
But here's the thing, and a lot of us deal with this, right? We always think that we can't afford to do certain things right now. And then the question comes, can I actually afford not to be doing this right now?
Right.
Because in order to scale at some point, you will have to do this. So I know, as you said, you just started in January, so you still have that growth to happen. But so currently you're working in your business more than on your business. And that's something that happens to a lot of us when we now start off. We end up doing everything. We're doing the sales, marketing, social media work, accounting,
driver,
receptionist,
payroll.
delivery. We're doing all these things. Everything. We just one-man army. And we end up being stuck. We basically just give ourselves a job. And as I believe, as founders and business owners, we need to be able to move from working in our business to working on our businesses. So you have somebody that will handle your daily, day-to-day management of whether it's getting the supplies, whether it's taking calls, whether it's replying to emails, you know, somebody that will take those little tasks off of you so that you can focus on how you'll actually build the business to scale properly. So, because just this month, I was actually helping somebody who was literally saying, I can't afford this, but she's literally drowning in work. And I said, the question is not if you can't afford, do you realize you can't afford not to right now? So, and success, you find success when you find a successor as well. So you could only replicate yourself so much in everything that you do. So you will eventually have to find somebody to train once you scale in a way that you have the time to do it. So you might say that you do have time to train somebody, teach somebody, but there comes a time when, hey, I have orders up to here, and I kind of need to breathe, you know? And I mean, and I'm sure Crystal could more than relate to this. You're smiling.
Yeah. Yeah, you know? Because I hired Chick, and I'm seriously considering hiring somebody else right now. It's like, how was I doing all of this before? I need more full-time people working other than freelancers. You know, before freelancers was my everything. You know, I have somebody for graphics, somebody for website optimization, somebody for design, somebody for packaging, you know, somebody, you know, like everybody for everything else. But it's like, I need one dedicated person to keep following up with, somebody who speaks Trini, you know, not just English, but speaks Trini and understand that I want something now, and I need this level of accountability, and I need this type of content, and I need it to speak to this type of audience, and I need you to respond this way and that way. And now I realize I need two of her.
So would you say your biggest pivot during the pandemic has been getting new staff?
My biggest pivot is understanding that I can do it as lean as I wanted to do it initially. Right. So getting staff, yes, was the biggest pivot, but it also taught me that I need to rely heavily on the automations that I started to build out pre-COVID. So e-commerce store again. So I have automations running in the background to optimize the stores. So my US store is fully optimized. However, my local store isn't, because we weren't, you know, big on e-commerce. But with COVID, that happened. So I saw myself scrambling, trying to put the processes in place. So it kind of caught me with my pants down in that particular area.
True.
So it taught me to be prepared. Biggest pivot is staffing and automations.
Interesting. And Sabira,
good.
No, just going to ask Sabira, what has her biggest pivot so far been since she started during the pandemic?
Get back to me.
All right, Mike.
No, I was just gonna say, you know, it's interesting. Like, all right, and I think I see this a lot with businesses that are based on a creator or somebody that designs or somebody that creates a particular item for sale. So for example, like Sabira, who is the craftsman or craftswoman herself that creates the item and that does certain things. There's a time that comes where the separation of themselves from the identity business becomes very difficult, because they are the brand at the end of the day inside a lot of ways. And I always look at like designers, for example, Giorgio Armani, and these designers who would have initially been, their name is on the brand, but the chances of them actually designing this outfit is next to zero.
Yep.
Right? Because at some point they would have realized that they can't keep up with the demand for their skill. And what they could do instead is vet the skill of others. So what they would have done is hire a designer who would then create a design, and they will say yes or no. Or they will tweak it to make it symbolize the brand that they want to put up.
Yeah.
And that doesn't happen immediately, because for Sabira, being that you would have officially blasted out in 2021 and being as fresh as that is like you still need to then grow, like I said, organically, and grow that personal touch to your brand still.
Yeah.
And you don't want to lose that. So I think for now, like what Chris was saying too, is that outside of that scope, there's so many other things that we do as entrepreneurs that we don't realize that it have freelancers, it have people out there that can do these things for us, so we can spend more time on the key mark of our business. Now, so for example, one of the things for me this COVID period was with launching websites and e-commerce stuff or whatever else. That's not my specialty, right? That's not my thing. But the immediate thought in my head was to dive in and do it.
Correct.
And after when I realized, I spent many nights trying to figure this out. I could have gotten somebody to do this for me way quicker. you know?
Yep.
And that moment when I realized I stayed up for hours when I could have been sleeping or could have been doing something else.
Yeah.
When I could have gotten somebody that knows this.
The thing is, I think what you start to look at after a while is the opportunity cost, really.
Yes.
Yeah.
You look at, you value yourself a bit more.
Yeah,
and you realize that the value that you have, you're wasting it fighting up over something that takes you a week. While you could just pay somebody $200 and they could do it in an hour.
That is itself.
And that's what you had, huh? That's what you had after you struggled.
And you would have made probably 10 times that 200 if you were able to focus on the important things.
Yep.
You know, the funny thing, usually the task is something that you hate doing yourself.
Exactly.
And you're beaten up like, oh gosh, I gotta do this. That was me. That was me about 2 months ago. And I was like, you know what? Hire me. Made a call. All right. $20 an hour, 4 hours a day. All right.
And
$20 a work done in a week. I was great.
And then you were able to be more productive and probably yield more than that initial investment.
That's correct.
And it's, when that light bulb finally goes off, like, I'm worth more than $20 an hour. Why am I fighting on doing this?
Thank you.
This whole week? And I could just pay somebody and, make that or invest my time better in a way I could probably, it might be up now, might make the money now, but I might, I'm planting these seeds to make it 3 months from now or 6 months from now.
Correct. And I tell people this. Go ahead, Mike.
So when you say that comes with that ability to let go of it, do you think that's a difficult process for entrepreneurs to do?
Yeah, man. Your business is your baby, you hold that near and there. Nobody could do it like you. Until you realize that maybe doing it close enough to you is good enough for right now. So you could focus on doing other things. Because nobody will ever do it like you. Nobody will ever have the passion like you. And once you become okay with that, I think it becomes easier to let go of it.
Correct. And you just approving when they do the work. Okay, approve, and then you say, if you have any other checks to do before you actually launch whatever. And that is something so true. And see what you said there? You value yourself more. Somebody is asking me would they price a certain job? And I said, okay, how much do you think somebody does that would do that job you would pay them? And they said, I guess say $500. And I said, okay, would you pay yourself $500 for what you do? No, then why are you doing it? If you wouldn't pay you that amount to do that task, then why are you doing it? Pay somebody who you know you'll pay less, right? And just get your job done so you could focus on what your, for lack of a better term, your superpower in your business is. Some people are good at marketing. Some people are, doing the craft. Like for me, I know I'm good on calls, so that is what is needed a lot. People need to recognize what is their superpower within their business and focus on that so their business can scale properly as resources come available. Dedicate those tasks, hire a virtual assistant, hire a freelancer. We know favor, $5 jobs, right? and it may sound cheap, but these people give you quality work. They do it half step, which is, for $5.
Listen, if I could share my screen right now.
It is, but so be really ready for us.
Right. And I think in addition to what Chris said, in terms of knowing your superpower, you should also know what's your kryptonite when it comes to business.
That is.
My kryptonite is definitely accountant. It's like
that's all of our kryptonite outside of accountants. All right.
So it's literally like keeping my books. I'll have everything together, but you see that collating and putting together and remembering it's time to file this and file that. No way. This is somebody else's job. So know your kryptonite, because I might spend a month putting stuff together and an accountant would come and just do that in a couple of days. And I would have been frustrated for probably 2 months. I'll be frustrated like 2 weeks before I have to do the task, 2 weeks after the task, and during the damn task itself. And I could have just get accountant. So know your kryptonite and be okay with the fact that, okay, I can let this go and let somebody else do this, because you don't need to be good at everything.
You will not be good at everything. That's the thing. You will not be good at everything, and we have to learn that quick. Especially now.
When you say pivot, you mean the thing that I need to do?
No,
What I
what
need
have
to
you
do?
done? No, not that you work. Well, if there's things that you still want to do, that's great. But what have you seen so far has been your biggest pivot since you've been in business during the pandemic?
Yeah, basically a shift.
Yeah.
When did I shift?
Yeah, biggest shift, yeah.
I think when I got, for me personally, it was influencers on social media that really sent me in that direction. I don't know, it was a marketing strategy, and I tried it, and a friend recommended someone, and I sent out the products, and she did a review, and the next day I had like 1,000 followers, and I was like 36.
Well, I need to meet that friend.
No, but it was actually a really, really wonderful person. I think a lot of people in Trinidad knows her at Stephanie Abraham Biz.
Right.
I know Stephanie Abraham.
Yeah, she did the review for me, and the support was amazing. It's really, she just sent me in a whole different, I'm like, if I start like thinking about her, she's like a genuinely like my angel, I guess, in disguise for me, for my small business. Because really and truly, she put me on the map. She did.
Yeah, she had a consulting business sometime. I think we did like a cup or something at some point.
Yeah.
She used to do like business meets, like a kind of mingle thing.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Well, for those now joining us, we have definitely two, I want to say superstars in their own right. All right. One is fresh into it. Crystal has a little more years. And the perspective they've given us tonight so far about the changes and things that they've done during the pandemic has been amazing. What I want to ask them now is, Sabira, seeing that you're fresh in the game, what advice would you give somebody now who's thinking about starting their business, especially during a pandemic?
So go for it. No, like if you can do it in your best of times, I mean, like, and feel good about yourself. Imagine doing it in the worst of times, like how you would feel, like, on the inside. Because at the end of the day, trying is the most important thing. I think just a little bit of effort and consistency every single day, and you must see something out of that, and it doesn't matter how stupid or irrelevant other people would think what you want to do is, because there would always be a group of people just like you and would like the things that you like. You'd always find your crowd and your support system, and it never in your friends and your family. Do not think it's going to be with them. Because when I used to sell Mike soup, to him it used to be $50.
Wow.
So, and then the support and stuff abruptly. So you gotta start. When you start, you find your own tribe. More than likely, it's strangers, and that just gives you a lot of hope. You just, see people differently. Communicate with them differently. You get to appreciate a lot of things. A lot.
All right. Wow, wonderful. And Crystal, with your years of wisdom and experience, what advice would you tell anybody now that wants to start their business during the pandemic?
Don't do it! Honestly though, what I would tell someone is, I would give them more practical advice, in the sense that business isn't simple. It's not something that you could just do. A lot of people pretend you could just do it, but it really isn't just do it. Not because you have an idea means you could have a business and run a business. It really isn't easy. It isn't sucker. It isn't It isn't simple. It's multifaceted. It is frustrating. It takes long hours. It takes commitment. It takes constantly renewing your commitments over and over and over again. It takes a lot out of you as an individual, and you need to have that true desire, not just to make money or to make a difference or to be the first or do something better. You just really need to have that desire and that spark, and to be able to motivate yourself to keep doing this thing. Because more likely than not, you really wouldn't have any cheerleaders. You will be your cheerleader. And to be your cheerleader, you must have a reason why you want to do this thing. And that reason needs to be your true note at all times. So if you're weak, get a job. If you're worried about not having money tomorrow, get a job.
Yeah, job.
If you're not sure you like your government work, you don't want people to see you, get a job. This requires a certain level of certainty, or faith, determination, drive, grit to keep doing it. Because you need to keep actively doing it. Because any day you could just train at all and say, well, I forget, I done. This is too much. Because to have a lot of days it feels like too much. Like when I had Busybody, I was going through my journal recently, and in some days I sold $2. $2. Whole day my passage was probably something like $30, and I sold $2.
With a product, yeah.
Right? So it's not a joke. So my advice to anybody is to take the time and do some deep introspection and figure out the whys you want to do this. And if you do decide that this is the path for you, keep the whys close to your heart, and ever so often renew it like your wedding vows. Just keep renewing it and going back to it and remembering why you wanted this, and go for it. It's just something that needs that level of commitment and understanding of oneself, because your business is an extension of you.
Correct. In other words, folks, this ain't for punks. Thick skin required.
It ain't for the
Right.
weak.
Oh, yeah.
Can be game.
This ain't a game.
Oh yeah.
All right, but
you're making me scared. Like
you are smiling through the rain, so you are good. I have no worries about you.
You know the crazy thing?
Don't worry, Jack. You started it, you're going to sold it through.
What's the crazy thing, right? Like businesses like for example, Siberia, for example, like businesses that started in the pandemic, that exploded in the pandemic. They got a rush experience on a lot of the headaches people take a year to learn sometimes. They just get hit with everything one time. Bam! Straight to face, like Mike Tyson, straight jab and uppercut.
Yeah.
Everything all at once.
Straight, no chaser.
Yeah,
that e-commerce structure change.
It's not open.
Yeah, like it. And then even at the e-commerce system, like, I mean, people who were operating before COVID, you may have had an idea as to what you may want to do if you can do e-commerce in a particular way. But like, I remember for me, trying to do some software to one of the banks, and they said they're not taking any business accounts or any business transaction right now. And I was like, what?
What?
And I was like, in my mind, I said to myself, if somebody was now starting a business, or they just opened an account or something, like the bank will tell them that, you would pull out your hair.
Yes.
Because you wonder, like, what just happened?
I am still waiting on services from the bank. Like,
you see?
Yeah.
So much needed to still be done in our infrastructure when it comes to commerce and setting up business accounts and stuff like that. Because I can tell anybody in the between December and February, I helped open 2 business accounts overseas that was done in less than 45 days with bank accounts being opened in 48 hours. Down here, no, you can't even get an appointment. What?
No, we was ridiculous here.
So we do have a couple of things still to be done in the country.
A couple?
I'm being nice here, man. I'm being a couple dozen, okay?
We're being real. Being real.
But the thing is though, we needed COVID to happen to catapult the digital.
We needed something to happen.
And to
it didn't have to be COVID.
Yes,
we needed something.
COVID unmasked the nonsense that was going on.
Right?
Basically, what was going on there.
All the holes in the system, people that didn't have bank accounts, people that didn't have business accounts, people that what hurt me is like when certain things for grants came up and people couldn't go get the grants because their business structure wasn't properly in place to begin with. And they missed out on being able to get money. So these are the type of things, people have to pull up on, especially, and we said now that the new FIU unit is there. So, if you think somebody ain't watching you before, you're going to be watched now. All right? Q. What is the song, Alyssa? It always feels like
somebody's watching me.
Yeah, that is what is going on now. All right, so anybody watching and you're looking to start your business venture, I would say please sit down, write out your plan, do a little market research. All right,
ask some questions.
Ask some questions, not just in your immediate circle, but don't just do what you call it, questionnaire from SurveyMonkey and put it on Facebook. No, actually do some market research, see, if there's actually a need for that business, and develop the plan around it. And if where you need help, get help.
Yeah.
Get an accountant on board, stuff like that. Because there are things I learned 3 years later when I started business. Stuff like paying taxes. I was like, what? I have this to pay every year? Knew nothing about that incorporation tax. What was that? These are the things you learn on the fly. Luckily, there was an amnesty, and I didn't have to pay the 3 years I was behind. Right?
One.
What's that?
Have another one right now. Small business for people like me too.
That's not what I'm going to say, no. I'm not going to say the same thing. So that's slipping, if you need to slip in people, slipping.
Right. So that's something that I hope you know about that, Sabira. That you have incorporation tax to pay every year, right? And then once
have the meeting with my accountant this week.
Right. So you have the green levy. Is green levy and which other one? I know there's two
levy, corporation tax.
And corporates.
And then you have the annual returns.
Right. So you have these things to do.
New thing with the bank. Well, for the bank, notice of something else, something old that's been enforced now.
Oh my God! See, I didn't know about this. So I need to answer a question. But
I didn't know that if you move and your business, you didn't change your business address within 15 days, you would be penalized.
Yep.
I didn't like
change of address, change of directors, and when it says you go to pay your taxes, they actually would check the system and be like, what is this? This is not the person who was there. You had to put the person who was there this year while pilot. It's a lot, and you don't want to let these things pile up because then at some point there would be no amnesty. All right, I remember the figure I would have had to pay. It was actually $4,088.
Remember those figures.
I remember that. So when I saw I had an amnesty, I ended up only paying $120. I was relieved.
I wish 4,000 and something was my fees.
So you see, folks, accounting is necessary when you have your business. Have an accountant.
Definitely.
Somewhere to understand taxes. These are the little things that they don't tell you. You don't learn in school, most definitely. All right. And
which is sad, Which is really sad.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is really sad.
Which is things that you might never use, like Pythagoras theorem, and they tell me about taxes, something that you'll definitely
do. Because what's even worse, I think, is that even when they go to tertiary level and stuff, some of the courses, most of our education system is based upon UK and whatever, right? And there's still not enough done on the entrepreneurship side to give knowledge to people.
Well, there are a lot of entrepreneurship courses,
No.
But I guess if you're not going around, they wouldn't teach it to you. What they teach is how to become a worker, a productive worker, a productive employee in the given field.
Correct.
There are entrepreneurship courses like Shell has one, Lockjack has one. I think
Lockjack has a nice one though.
Yeah, Lockjack has several. They had an online one before online was even a thing. So there are entrepreneurship type courses. Like I did cooperative studies in Cipriani. I believe cooperative is technically entrepreneurship under a different name as together. So there is there are the courses, but as a
but it also comes down to the individual wanting to learn more.
Yeah.
Because the information, we cannot say the information is not there, and we can't just say everything is in books. Everything is online, all right? You can go online. We have a lot of smartphones that people waste hours a day doing stuff. You can go and do a short course. Come on, all right? You can do that. Yeah. So, ladies, we actually want to give you all a few minutes to, share a little more about your business. Tell people where they can reach you, where they can order the stuff you have, all right? And, find out more about your stuff, whether it's on Facebook, Instagram, or whatnot. So, Sabira, I'll let you go first.
Okay, so good night, everyone. I am located in Tobago, in Mount Uban. I sell craft supplies, and you guys, I sell craft supplies and the candles and soaps, and sometimes I do personalize gift boxes dependent on if I have the materials, and I let you know that. You can contact me on Roomy Secrets, at Roomy Secrets on IG or Roomy Secrets on FB. And do we get phone numbers and stuff here too as well?
Well, once you have, is it on your profile on social media? Right,
social.
You can get.
So yeah.
Roomy is ROOMY?
No, RUMI.
Or RUMI, you see? That's why I needed.
Roomy sounds like Rummy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rummy Secrets.
Yeah. All right. So we'll actually share the handles in the comment section after. So
and
go
I'm
ahead.
sorry because I'm not nervous, but I don't know why it's raining and I'm sweating, and then I don't know. I'm still probably public speaking, probably still not good.
This is fine. This is good practice.
This is the most socializing I've done for COVID.
Adhering to all COVID regulations, of course.
He's gonna pull up on us and say this is a crime.
Well, it's 5 people, so we within the right amount.
And we really social distancing here.
And we definitely social distancing here.
Criteria.
Very good. So thanks for sharing that, Sabrina. We will definitely put it up in the comment section, so those that want to get contact with you, whether it's for these candles, whether it's for the raw material, for the oils and whatnot, so they can reach you for that.
And it's really pleasant. Thank you guys for having me. And I learned so much just from these couple, different interactions with them. From Crystal, I learned so much that I need to do.
Feel free to contact her after. Feel free to contact her.
And you really are an inspiration, because I'm dying with one business and you have 3. So I don't know how you're managing. I really, really don't know how you're managing, because I feel like, I'm still learning how to do everything like around it, basically. I'm learning how to have my life around my business, basically. So I don't know how you're doing it.
Once you remember your why, I think it really helps. Like, why you're doing this? Like, what's your goal? Is it that you plan to retire at 40? Is it that you want to leave a legacy for your children? Is it that you want to show the neighbor that I am better than you? Like what's your why? Once you remember your why and you stay true to your why, it makes it easier. Not easy at all, but easier.
Yeah. Well,
easier.
Well, thank you so much. Yeah, you really sound like someone that I would want to have the conversation with too.
Yeah, don't worry, hit me up.
Okay. I will, guys. Right? So once you say I call you 2 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, God.
Another one.
We know what time it is. And that's fine.
Yes, sir, at one time.
Yeah.
Exactly. At least it's the same time. Don't just wrong. So, Crystal, kindly share and let people know how they can get in contact with you and your businesses.
For many.
Once you have internet, I am at your fingertips. So Yeah, baby. So if you wanna, if you want your vehicle, if you want to go on a journey, and you want your voyage from point A to point B to be something memorable and transcend, you can hit up Busybody. BEEZY Buddy. Same thing on Instagram, Facebook, website, all the handles. If you are a visitor from anywhere on the World Wide Web and you are into ice cream and you want to add something memorable to your store, something niche, something unique, we shop worldwide. We have Roll Ice Cream. Quite simple to remember, ROLL icecream.com. And if you are in the beauty industry, making lipsticks and balms, wink wink. Are you into our core customers are persons into food production. However, if you are a farmer, a chain, just somebody who is growing something that is decriminalized, or anything along this particular area, we are your company, and our website is Your Equipment Suppliers. Website, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, everything. So just search us right there, and we are absolutely certain that we would be in the top 2 results if you search anything in that particular industry for us on Google.
So, we get a question?
Yes, I wanted to ask her in the last business, which you were saying, if you're in the equipment. So what kind of equipment? Do you is it like oil presses, these types of things, or?
It's everything, really.
Everything?
Name your equipment supplier. Well, the real name is Your Everything Supplier, but
your
the real name is Your Equipment. Sorry?
No, because I understood a lot in there when you said decriminalize and everything.
Yeah, so we would have like oil presses, we will have things to grind, things to dehydrate, things to preserve, vacuum sealers. So we cater for all the different industries. So we sell equipment in terms of preservation, preparation, mechanical processing, heat processing. It ranges. It's literally almost everything. We can make flour, you can make pinnacles, you can make popsicles. So it's for everybody in the industry.
Wow. Okay, cool.
And we also have financing, quick plug.
Nice.
Anything else?
Very interesting.
Everybody just gets speechless there, boy. Would you like to buy a vowel?
No, that's fine. I like the fact that she can actually be speechless. A lot of people, they don't have anything to share besides one thing, and she has so much she actually have to try to facilitate and put in order, which is good. So we added a couple of their links in the comment section, folks. So if you want, you can go ahead and check them out. All right. You can find Rumi Secrets on Facebook and on Instagram, and also Busybody on Facebook. And I shared the Instagram page for Your Equipment Suppliers. Their contact information is there. Feel free to reach out, have a discussion, have a conversation about their business, and at least support in some way. You don't just want to talk to happen. All right. Great conversation tonight. What was that?
No, I just realized, the camera was just showing
up. Yeah, it's fine. we knew we were supposed to talk at the head of something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Any closing questions for the ladies, guys?
No, I'm actually good, man.
Yeah, I find the panel was pretty quiet.
Of course. We just listened. This was a time, honestly, we just really listened, and it was really refreshing to hear the shares from on both sides of the whole area of entrepreneurship. Now growing business, experience business, and really hearing the different sides of it. I just love exactly how things will just happen with it. And this is what the conversation is about. So sometimes it's just to just sit back and listen. Even listening is part of the conversation itself. So I have no problem with that at all.
Yeah.
And tonight's show was about you guys. It wasn't about us or about everything. It was about learning from you all and letting people hear that look, this is not a walk in the park.
That's right.
All right. Overnight success takes 10 years. You know, these are the things and the truths that people need to hear. All right. As much as they want things to happen quickly, sometimes we aren't prepared for that scale. These type of things, you know. So yeah.
If I say anything, go ahead.
I have one thing. I learned one thing. My brother told me this. He was like, you are defined by the way you can say no. I don't know how to say no.
You will learn, babe.
You will learn.
That is definitely a learning process, right? It's something you have to learn. Yeah. It don't always happen immediately.
So learning.
It'll be one of those mistakes that you were talking about that you made.
Yeah. What I will say help me in learning to say no is that the thing is you are not going to sell to everyone. You aren't meant to sell to everybody. You cannot serve everyone. And when you try to, two things happen. One, you run yourself thin, you get exhausted, you get tired. And two, there's something that's called brand confusion that happens where you look like you do everything for everyone. So then you actually begin selling to no one because you don't seem to be an authority in anything. So for example, if it is you're trying to sell to everyone, right? Oil, soap, potpourri, everything you're trying to sell to everybody, right? But I just want candles. And then Crystal is selling candles only. She's just doing candles. That's her niche, that's her thing. Who do you think I'm going to go to? I'm going to go to the... Exactly. So that's why you need to be able to say no so you can focus on your tribe, as you mentioned earlier, that tribe that you built and sell to them. Because once you start trying to sell to everybody, but you're saying yes and you want to serve and you want to, eventually you'll sell to no one because you're trying to sell to everybody.
The more you say no, the yes you have grows in value.
Correct.
Yeah.
I like that.
Oh, yes.
Correct.
You want to get deep on the data party life here, no, buddy. Want to get deep.
That's why I say I don't talk much.
Yeah.
Because sometimes saying yes is really expensive.
Yes, it is.
Right? Even though my business
I'm not just financially.
Sometimes saying yes is expensive because sometimes you say yes to the person that you had a tingling in the back of your mind that you should probably say no to. And you ignore that tingle and you say yes. And that customer send you to your psychologist.
Yep.
Or to the bar.
Yep.
Or to vent on another customer. So sometimes saying no preserves your sanity. And that was an expensive lesson I had to learn. Because at one point I wanted everybody's money. Everybody. And then I had a very expensive lesson. I should have said no, but no, I wanted his money again, even though he was a difficult customer the first time around. Money is green.
You gotta be careful of those kind of customers. Some of them customers will make you try to eat your own face.
So if I could have given back his money times 2 to get rid of him.
Yeah.
No, but it's a scary thing sometimes that we take on people that instinctively we tell ourselves, I never want to put with a client or even as a business associate or to work with an entrepreneur. You get that feeling. And then you tell yourself, but. And like for me, being in the personal training industry, like when it comes to groups is one thing. When it comes to like who I do one-on-one sessions with, I'm really selective because they are in your space. You give your energy to them and you feed off the energy that they give back. So sometimes they can make your space so toxic and it's like you're watching them and saying, well, what made me take you as a client again? What's the reason?
Really
and the money becomes obsolete all of a sudden. It's like, nah, boy, you can
I really keep that.
Again?
Yeah. We're going to learn renovations this week.
Every excuse.
It takes some growing to do it and some confidence in your brand that you'll find another customer.
Of course.
Because sometimes the hard part is that you think to yourself, I don't want to lose a customer, but that customer that costs you your not only your sanity, as Crystal was saying, but and not only finances, but emotionally can damage you to a point where you affect another customer and lose that customer.
Also reputation.
Exactly.
Because this one customer, even though let's say they ordered a spatula and the spatula smelled wrong and they sent it back and you send back another spatula for them. This customer is already displeased, regardless of what you do at this point. From the time he received something that he didn't perceive as what he wanted, or he ordered, or he felt deceived or mistreated, he will continue to feel like that. You could give him back his money, you could give him back a free spatula. He will go on and rant and rave about how this company sold them an old spatula. He will be telling people, this is the experience that he had. Yes, they did this. Yes, they did that. He might if he got back this or that. He will just go and he will just run his mouth. He might even leave a bad review, or he might be drinking with Paul and the fella. He leave a bad review.
With a mouth is always the, best. So you don't want that. And Superior always if you look at the examples of the wealthy in the world, they always started off as one thing first, and they became really good in that, and then they started to get branched out. They weren't the one-stop shop at all. They focused on doing one thing, became really, really excellent at that, the authority in that, and then they branched out. So that's a good example as well to keep in the back of your mind when somebody comes and you don't want to say no. You say no so you can say yes to what keeps you aligned with what you want to do, and I believe that is for all of us, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So ladies.
So let me say it now. Let me say it because as I'm on the live and we have so many people in the audience, I really love soap making. Please don't come. But the raw materials, I do try to have a range of it because it's a lot of materials, a bunch of the crafts use. So I try to have a range in that. But soap making is my thing. That's just it. But candles, I dabble, but people like it and they pull it out of me. That's what happens,
Okay, definitely vouch for the soups. Still have my soups.
So those sell might no more soup. Well, sell it, but make sure you use it.
I want more soups, but like I said,
don't make it sound so Chris.
Yeah, boy. I want more soups now, boy. The problem just be when they get one that's looking best now, boy. Look at that cake. It was hard to go and make this thing, but I was like, yo, this thing looking so nice. If I want to make it, it go spoil with this thing looking. I want to just keep it. So in the mind of saying, I want to get one for show and one to be with now, boy. So you see, you can sell 2 soaps now, boy. That's the thing.
Something, Mike, if you guys would like me share it. I met Mike and he trained me for a bit. And I think Mike's personal choice for me was to torture me or every time we meet up. I remember I used to be cussing Mike and Mike used to laugh like that. I don't like that.
Well,
but I just wanted to share that about him because you guys said something about, working out. And I remember that about him. Torture me. No.
But did you die?
It made you stronger.
But did you die?
It made you stronger.
Oh my
God. 4 layers of concrete. And he's like, all right, push your foot up and push it back down.
You see, all I was need to prepare for 2021 and COVID.
Correct.
I know.
Right.
But it was fun.
Yes.
It really was one of the better times in my life.
Yeah, don't worry.
You see the leg stuff? You see the back stuff?
Correct. And don't worry about it. Sabira, if you die, walk it off.
Yeah.
So let's walk it off.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Mike, you remember those days?
Definitely remember those days. Definitely remember those days.
Wow.
It's all good. You see, this is what we love here in the conversation, folks. Real talk. All right, only filler, no fluff. All right, so
Yep.
please tell someone about tonight's episode. Share it. It will be
Definitely.
also live on YouTube in a couple of days. All right, but you can always revisit this episode right here on the Mantle page here on Facebook right after. And if you do check us out on YouTube, please like and subscribe. Put on the little bell, the little notification, so you know every time the new episodes are uploaded. All right, so you can share with others. So we really want to thank you for joining us here tonight on the Mantle Movement here in the conversation. We will be having more entrepreneurs and business owners in the future. So please stay tuned for that so we can get these stories behind the curtain. All right. Because this is what you don't hear about. All right. These are the things you don't hear about. You're hearing it directly from them. So once again, ladies, thank you for joining us tonight. Any parting words, guys?
You ladies are superstars.
This is awesome.
Keep rocking. Keep rocking.
Yeah, that's it. Just continue pumping in terms of what you're doing, and just keep moving forward. All right. And for those at home, don't forget, please be safe. Continue to sanitize, show social distance, everything that you need to do, because we want you all to still be in here very well. Next week, please wear a mask. People, remember, just stay as safe as possible so you can be on for the next time as we have the conversation. So guys, continue to stay blessed.
Bye.
All right, good night.